I'm here with Nathan Paul Davis, who will be playing a birthday concert coming up and a big celebration. Nathan, thank you for doing this. And I've got to ask you, are you going to tell me which birthday this is for you?
Oh no. Uh, you speak music. I just gave you the answers.
It's the zero birthday? Because I didn't hear that. You must have like wiped out
Oh
the
man, I'm
mic.
so weird. I am so weird about. I consciously stopped keeping track of the number a little bit before COVID. Like I took my birthday offline, and my sister, what she did as a response, she started because she was like, Nathan, your birthday's not up online. Something's wrong. I was just like, yeah, I wonder. And so she would post my birthday, like say it and like tag me in it on my page, and then people, I was like, yo, I wanted to pretend like I didn't have a birth. I heard so many cool things from other cultures and other people, like certain cultures, they just don't know when their birthday is, or they're just not sure how old they are because they don't know when they were born.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
tell you this much.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I feel fairly young, but perhaps I am not. I mean, you would say I was young, but you know how it's all relative.
Yeah, everybody's young to me. Um,
Well,
so,
and you're young to my 100-year-old uncle,
oh, you got a 100-year-old uncle. That's good.
driving around, going to the casino.
Uh-oh. I'm not sure I want to be like driving ahead of him or behind him, but
Oh, he's no,
that, like
he's
you
doing his
go on,
thing. He's
because
doing his thing.
does he win?
Oh, I've never asked him that, but he's not struggling financially, so I don't know. Yeah.
Well, tell me about how this gig came about. Is this your first time playing in the newly renamed Edwin's?
Yes, it is, and it's so funny you bring that up because a slightly younger cat on the scene, he was looking at an old video. He says, "Man, I looked at a video of Dan Wilson from like 13 years ago," and I was just like, ah, and I was just like, that made me want to go back. And my sister, when I played at Nighttown a long time ago, uh, she had an old video of the concert. And I'm looking at this video of me at Nighttown years ago, and I'm still in college, maybe it's my sophomore, senior year, one of those. I'm just like, very, very interesting. So Edmonds is now, it's replaced Nighttown, right? It was just a trip. That was the first show that I played. Like that was some of my first official jazz shows in general in my music career in Cleveland, Cleveland Heights, Nighttown. I remember I sold Nighttown out at like 18, 19, but it wasn't because we were like bigger fans. It was just because Cleveland Heights. All our parents, like Jacob's parents, his mom worked at the school. His dad, I think he was a health inspector, or he would like inspect stuff at restaurants or something. My stepmother worked at Case. My father was a pastor. James' mom was an artist. His dad was a doctor. Ben's dad was a doctor. For some reason, I don't know if I ever found out what his mom did. And then Avi too. Their parents were in the community and stuff. So if if any of our parents just told a few friends, we were gonna sell the place out.
Who
So
was in the band? You were naming some names there, and
yeah, Jacob Bergson on piano, James Mushler on drums, and then Ben Bloom on bass. I believe was we had a band called the Cleveland Jazz Project. Um, we
wow.
put an album out and everything, and we recorded it at whatever studio it is that the Cleveland Orchestra or one of I don't remember. It's all kind of blurry. But just speaking of Edwin, it's just like it's circular. It's a full kind of circular. moment, you know, even though it's called Edwin's, if you go in there, the Nighttown name and it's all still there. Like you
Well,
still see it.
that's a big name and a lot of stories in that club. Give me your favorite Nighttown or Edwin story that you're willing to talk about in public.
Oh, there's no Nighttown wasn't. I was when I was going to Nighttown, I was just way too young to be doing anything other than just watching my elders play and just see if I could, get up close to one of these famous, goated saxophone players back then. I'm not aware of anything strange at Nighttown. Not, no, there's, I could tell any story. Um, that was not one of those late night. Oh, we had some late nights there. I don't have no story like that at Nighttown, but I have a lot of nights where it's just like one story. I remember I was going to the restroom. I saw Joshua Redman play there, and he had played 2 nights in a row. And I run into him in the bathroom, and he's like, from that experience, I do not know him like that, but from that experience, he was kind of goofy. I was like, and I'm kind of like a very awkward fan where I will just get in your face and just because I've seen you so much, so I feel kind of comfortable. It's like I've been watching you for years. You don't know me though, and so I was like, Joshua Redman, like, I mean, it's interesting meeting you in the bathroom, and he was just like watching. He's like, oh yes, hey, what's up, man? And it was like kind of like awkward, a little stuttery, but I could tell it. Yeah, that was interesting. I was just like, yo, I just met Joshua Redman in the bathroom, and then he is such a great showman. I'd never seen like a jazz show like this because he's making faces, being goofy, and I'm used to like people playing hard music, so they like have a serious exterior. He does, but he was like extremely entertaining to watch. And there was this drunk people in the front that were making so much noise. Like they were very ignorant. And it was, I think, Greg Hutchinson on drums, Ruben Rogers bass, Josh Redman piano, maybe Aaron Goldberg or Joshua Redman, sax, Aaron Goldberg piano, the squad. And Greg Hutchinson or Ruben, they were particularly upset. And Josh Redman asked them nicely or something in between. So he's like, "You guys are kind of loud. Can you quiet down?" I was like, "Oh, they actually addressed them on stage." And I was like, "Okay, that's not good." So then I'm watching the table, these drunk people, and then they're still loud. They don't stop. I mean, they're probably blackout drunk, like ignorantly, like wildly drunk. It was weird. And so I think Greg or whoever was on, I think it was Greg, start because he's right. You know how Nighttown is, or everyone's the table and the band are like right next to each other. And so this was a particularly close setup. Greg Hutchinson starts banging on the cymbal in front of the dude's face because they just wouldn't be quiet and they're in the middle of a song and Josh Redman's looking at him. I was like, oh, they're upset. And so the band starts playing harder and I felt a little uncomfortable. I was like, I had never witnessed that before. It was just such a, I was like, huh. I must have been 19 or something. I was like, oh. And then he's like, and then I think it just didn't. I think at one point Joshua Redman took the horn out of his mouth while he was playing. He's like, "Wow, you're still doing this. You're still talking right now." Like he got to that point, and I was just like, "This is a very memorable moment." Very. I doubt those guys even remember that, but that I was young and I very impressed. And historically at the old Nighttown, people were just kind of very noisy, just like the classic old jazz recordings. You're hearing Parker, Dizzy Gillespie, Bud Powell play the most beautiful, genius stuff you've ever heard, and the crowd's talking over them the whole time. I guess it's not funny, but and Nighttown was somewhat similar to that. But I saw Brad Mehldau there. Not a single person talked. Absolute silence. And you didn't always see that Nighttown, but certain people played there. I was just like, oh, nobody talking. Brad Mehldau played. Interesting. And
Hmm.
then I don't know what that means. And then I saw Terrence Blanchard there. I remember that show because he started with four. They're like it was very, and he had Bryce Winston with him. Well, I haven't heard about in a while. But those are the type of stories. Just saying, I don't. Yeah, that's there's a lot, but clearly I would not stop talking if I kept doing this. You can ask another question.
For sure. Now, As a front man, you have a lot of personality and you bring a lot of energy to the stage. Um, and I have to admit, like the last time I think I saw you was on an outdoor stage at Tri-C, and that's a totally different thing.
Oh,
But
was
how
that
do
with
you feel?
Admirables?
Pardon
Yeah.
me?
I said, was that with Admirables? It had to have
Yes, it
been.
was. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
High energy music, you want
Yeah.
to get people involved. That's the point.
Mhm.
How do you feel about like doing a club date and having a noisy crowd? Do you want them to pat their feet and pop their fingers, or do you want them to sit and listen, or does it depend?
I never want anybody to just sit and I mean you want people to sit and like this is somewhat of a complicated question because I could reverse it and you could say, who's in control when you go to the doctor's office, the patient or the doctor? I'm not sure I really know the answer there, but if you mull over that question, the doctor's probably more so in control because they know what's going on. They're researching you, doing all this and that. You could look at it. I mean, does a patient go in telling the doctor? They can tell them what's wrong with them, and then it's collaborative effort. So the patient tells the doctor, "This is what's wrong. This is what I've been going through," and based upon what the doctor sees and hears from them, they come up with a solution for them. That's more so how I view my crowd. I might go in and see the crowd and my set list is so diverse and there's so many different ways to play the song. I say we're still gonna play the same songs, but we're gonna approach them differently. I might look at the crowd and say, "This is a hype crowd, y'all. This is a hype crowd, y'all. We playing crazy tonight. They want the chaos. We bringing it to them." Or they might come in, and I might look and I say, "They're a little solemn. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with something triumphant sounding, and then we're gonna kick the field goal over, and bang, we're gonna eventually get them, over the hump." Or it's like this is a pretty chill crowd. They're kind of a little out of it, which that crowd is it's hard to determine what their medication is, but all crowds are patients and they need some sort of medication. It's my job to study and observe them and to not go on autopilot. Do I want them? What up, Fergie? I know that's not the cat's name. Do I want them to stand, sit, dance? I want them to do what is the most healing thing. It's I call my music sound medicine. So I mean that's the goal. That might have been a weird way to answer the question. I mean, naturally, I want them to give me some energy, something, but you know, it's like, what is your role? Is it the audience's job to make the entertainer feel good? Is it the entertainer's job to make the audience feel good? I guess it depends, but I guess I kind of said where I stand with it. But I will say a dull crowd or a non-engaging crowd at all. Obviously, this like if the crowd has zero energy, it's like, but also, when the crowd is loud sometimes and noisy, I like that sometimes, especially if the music is somewhat experimental or it's new or I'm trying some stuff out. For me personally, a very quiet crowd, like if they come in, they get their drink and they're like this, and they're just really locked in like that. Sometimes that can be overwhelming depending on how new the music is. Sometimes it's like the crowd's a little noisy tonight, y'all. But let's be honest, this is one of those nights where we may not mind. This music's a little hard. We didn't get as many rehearsals as we want. So it all just depends. It's very much my whole outlook on life and on the stage is very much an improvisatory, like, it's just like show up and find out sort of thing. And there's many different definitions. Gary Bartz defines improv as kind of actually messing up something you did not intend to do. But I don't really have intentions all like that. As you heard, it's like it's really I got to read the energy of the crowd, go off them, and see what happens. Maybe I might read them wrong. Maybe I might not. So it's a very much, we'll find out.
Now, you brought up set lists, so do you have one for the Edwin's gig?
Yeah, 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 yep. I sent it out. Yeah.
You want to talk about it, or is it going to be a surprise?
I mean, what I feel like that you could tell me if I'm reading it wrong. Does that question imply that you think I might be doing some covers?
No, no, not at all. I just wondered, what are you going to offer on the occasion of your birthday? It's your gift to the people that come to your party.
It's gonna be original music. I don't. How do you talk about something like that? Okay. How would you describe Superman ice cream to somebody that's never had ice cream or anything cold before?
Hmm.
Would you
Okay.
even bother to explain?
No.
Or would you say, you know what? You just need to taste this. My father used to have this very thing that just blew my mind. And he's like, God has just always existed. I was like, what are you talking? Always existed? How is that possible? I'm sitting with him in his Honda Accord in the passenger seat. I'm little. I was like, he's like, if you think about it too much, then you will go crazy. Don't worry about it. He had to release me because I was really struggling. I was just like, ah. And then he said something to me one day that kind of put everything into perspective. He says, try explaining yourself to a cockroach. I said, what? He says, do you think you could break? Just tell the cockroach what you're going through. Tell them your problems. It's not possible. Can you explain yourself to a cockroach? Now, let me make something clear. The audience is not that's not the analogy I'm saying, but you're in a scenario where it's just, I'm saying two parallel lines never meet. Some things are just not possible. You have to experience it to know. So if I was able to tell everybody what's going to happen and they come in with these expectations, that kind of works against me. It's going to be original music, and I'm going to be very in tune with the energy of the crowd, which creates an automatic sort of, and they automatically become in tune with me as you know, we both see each other.
That's fair. But you can talk about the band because that's already on record. So how'd you put together this band? Not that it was hard to pick these.
Well, on record, I actually am not sure if Kip, Theron, Zaire, and I are actually specifically on record. I'm not sure that's the case. I don't know if we have any records together.
No, no, no. I mean, there's advertising out for the show.
Oh, right, right. Which is something I don't always do either, but the more official, the more you just got to be straight for it. Um, I'm sorry, what was the question?
How'd you put together the band? How'd you choose these musicians?
Oh, I wish I had a deep answer. I mean, Zaire plays with me all the time. That's like one of my right. He's in Admirables. He's in like all my projects. So I didn't really pick him. He's usually just on the gig. It's like almost a safe assumption. Um, Theron Brown. I mean, we go all the way back to University of Akron. We started there together. And Theron's teaching at University of Akron in the Jazz Studies program with Chris Coles, and I've recorded a lot with Theron. There's a lot of stuff with us out. I've known him. I'm familiar with him. Kip Reed is like the only like electric bass player that has the ability around here locally to also sound like a straight up upright swinging, bass player. And he's got this new bass he's got. It's really cool and amazing. And I've always played with Kip off and on. These are just guys I've played with for at least 10 plus years. They're just very familiar. I know them. And also, I was thinking about people who I'd probably have to explain my musical vision to the least. Z pretty much almost knows all my music already. Theron, he's played some of these songs before. He's familiar with a lot of my music. If you go back, there's a lot of stuff him and I doing, not a lot, but him and I doing duo. It just makes sense. And then Kip Reed, he plays with me a decent amount and he knows a lot of my music. So I guess part of it, I think I'm actually going to give you a straightforward answer now. These three people are probably the most recently familiar with a lot of my songs as well. I used to do a residency once a month. Like I used to be in a regular band with Kip Reed for like 2 straight years. He was like in my band with me doing residencies and playing stuff. Theron's played with me throughout the years. Those guys they're extremely familiar with a great deal. They probably played over 30 songs of mine, a handful of times on each song there. It was just, yeah, it made sense.
A couple of years ago, you were pretty active releasing singles um, independently. And I haven't seen any of those recordings lately. Are you still doing them? Do you plan to do more?
I think you just told on yourself. I just released this past Friday.
Oh,
And I released before that too. I never stopped. I just released some with Johnny Cochran, Paul Samuels, Zaire Dart, and George Delancey's killing.
I did see that. That's
Mhm.
Bandcamp?
I don't know if it's on Bandcamp actually, and the reason I didn't put it on Bandcamp is because it was really like first off, Johnny's on sax, I'm on piano, and I'm not treating that as Nathan Paul date. So if I'm gonna put something up on Bandcamp, it has to really be like more so 100% mine. Not that that track was not collaborative. I wrote the song, I did book the gig, but it's just like a do dee 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 dee. That's the whole song. What I just sung is the whole song. So it's like I don't know. I just feel weird putting on Bandcamp because then it's just like I should probably give all these people some of this money, but then it's just like I don't know. So it confuses me.
No, I
Just
get that.
trying to be, I'm just trying to be, I'm not worried about the money as much as I am just trying to be fair that it doesn't seem like I'm like exploiting their efforts or something. I don't know. I'm weird like that.
Sure. Where can the people find it?
Anywhere. Like stream, iTunes. I guess people are boycotting Spotify, so whatever.
Yeah.
Uh just all whenever I upload it, I just upload it to all streaming services. Bandcamp is not one of those places that's included in that a distributor goes to. That's just a personal upload. Outside of that, it's everywhere.
Okay.
I make this argument about the streaming services and all that. I do not have a Spotify subscription, but as much as my logic as an artist is streaming in general to me is free promotion. I never intended to like make six figures off just like, putting out, songs per se. So for me, it's like free promotion is like a business card. And also, I I think music should be, I do, my philosophy, think music should be free. When I was younger, saxophonist Steve Coleman, I remember his website, M Bass Collective. All his music's on his website for free. It has been for over 20 years. And that really resonated with me when I was younger. It's just how free healthcare in other countries, to me, music, it's the same thing. So it's just like I'm not about to really get bent out of shape on that. And if you really want to help and heal people, I don't think you would make your product exclusive. I should be as easily accessible as humanly possible if I feel I have something that you need. A need should be as easy to get as possible. So if some people like Spotify, they can find me there. Some people like YouTube, they can find me there. Some people like iTunes, they can find me there. I forget what else there is. Amazon Prime, Tidal, Deezer, whatever. But now that I think about it, my solution is I could just put it on Bandcamp for free if I was worried about anything. I just thought about that. I could just put it up there, for free. People just have it.
But the concert will be a ticketed event,
The
right?
concert
We
is
got to make
absolutely a
we
ticket. Now, the live experience, you definitely got to pay for it. That's different because it's rare. It's only going to happen that way once. You know, Even if people record it on their phones, they won't be able to stand in that room that night ever again. Not that night. You can't. Yeah,
So that night is January 29th. That
that's
room
right.
is Edwin's. Um, it's Nathan Paul Davis's birthday. Thank you for taking the time to
Well,
talk
I
to me
just want
about
to emphasize this. One thing I want to say,
it. Yeah.
January 29th is actually my father's birthday, and my birthday is January 25th. But me and my father grew up. Sometimes I would celebrate my birthday on his birthday because they were only 4 days apart. And I was supposed to be born on January 29th, but I just came 4 days early. So January 29th, I've celebrated my birthday on that day growing up multiple times, but also January 25th is I couldn't do a show on that day. It had to be the 23rd or the 29th. I was like, oh, I was supposed to be born that day. It's my father's birthday. I grew up celebrating my birthday on that day. So it still is very in my mind. And my father's passed. So it's like celebrating myself and the legacy of my father as well.
That's a great reason to go. Well, happy birthday early and late, whichever one it is. You don't have to talk about it, just play about it. And thanks for taking the time to talk to me about that today.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.